One Terran, one Protoss, one Zerg left here at the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose qualifiers, as soO and Gumiho are going to battle it out in a best of 3 to find out who goes up against Hero for that second spot at San Jose.
That's right. This is going to be a really cool game because Gumiho's been doing very well recently in all of his matchups, actually, and he's been using a lot of mech versus Zerg. So that's what I'm expecting to see from him here today. But soO's been playing godlike. I know he lost earlier versus Rain, who qualified in first place from this qualifier, bear in mind. But he's been destroying everybody else that he's played since. So I'm really feeling in favor of soO, of course. He's, like you've said, pretty much the best Zerg in the world right now. Against Gumiho, a player who's returned to form because he's an old-school player. He's playing back in 2010 and 11. Never really got major success, but was still a dominant Terran, you know, at the round of 32, round of 16 level. And here he is again in 2014, a long time since we've really seen him compete at the deeper stages of tournaments. So happy to see him here.
And he's our only Terran, not only left, but in the entire bracket to begin with anyway. So soO hasn't really had to deal with a Terran just yet today. As we have spawning up at the top right, it is our last Terran. It is Gumiho, currently teamless, we believe, right? He was on CJ before, but teamless.
Correct.
And down to the bottom left-hand corner, it's our red Zerg representing SK Telecom T1. It is soO.
Yup. So if we're going to see mech coming out from Gumiho, there's a couple of ways to play against it. You can, of course, play Roach, Hydra, Viper style and just get the Blinding Clouds in, pulling out units. You can play Heavy Mutilus, but the more common out of all the strategies is actually just Swarm Hosts. Because, to be honest, if you didn't have the Swarm Host unit, I think you'd be in a lot of trouble against mech. I think mech would become very, very strong. So Swarm Host can deal with it, but that really increases the length of the games and the series that we... Well, series that we could be seeing here if we were to see like a mech versus Swarm Host.
Is there any chance of soO trying to just end it earlier in this matchup?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, his aggressive style really pushes it into that if we were to see that kind of style coming out from both players. Whether it be some kind of bust early, Ling busts, Roach busts, you know, Roach Bane Ling, whether it be something more, a little bit more complicated like Roach drops, and we haven't seen that in a while, but still, I suppose, could work.
Well, we'll find out in a bit. soO is actually playing the more cautious route here and going for a spawning pool before hatch and then heading on down. His overlords really haven't spotted anything in the middle of the map because there is nothing to spot. Gumiho back at home has got his gas, his barracks all ready to go very soon.
Yeah, spawning pool before the hatchery here means that he could squeeze out Lings to run around away from the first Reaper to then force a cancel on the command center, kill the SCV there, and is also pretty good, obviously, against if there were any 2-Raxes, proxy barracks. He gets the Queen out early, so he can push back away the Reapers very easily. But he's only building 2 Lings. 2 Lings could still, in this time, run around the other sides, run away from the first Reaper, which is very common, obviously. And by seeing the command center down, he already knows it's 1 Reaper. But it is only going to be 1 Reaper, though. There's not a second supply depot. So second Reaper, a lot less common. He's chosen a faster command center here.
So there we go. There's the reactor going down. As Reaper is going to head on.
And the Lings are running around, see?
Yeah.
So they should be able to kill this SCV. They won't kill the command center, but they'll sure as hell delay this CC from finishing up.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying. Queen's...
Oh, no, the Reaper's coming back.
Oh, wow. Is he... He's actually checking the left-hand side. Look
at
this.
He's actually just going to use the Reaper to sit around and just wait.
Wow, that's really, really nice.
So
considering he hasn't seen anything else.
Yeah, these 2 Lings won't do anything here.
Great little move here by Gumiho, really anticipating his opponent's movement. And
Lings...
so is soO.
Yeah.
Because he sees it with the Overlord, right?
No, he didn't see it.
Oh, did he not see it come back?
No, he didn't.
Ah, okay, then.
But he's wondering where the Reaper is by now because it should have been on his side of the map, which is why he's chilling.
Yeah. It's really clever, really, really clever from both players. Reaper just decides to take on the Watchtower and not move over there at all, whilst behind all this, factory's on the way, it's about to finish up, get those Hellions out there good and fast.
2 Lings won't do anything here, he's not even going to bother sending them in.
Yeah. Oh well, oh well. Both players kind of missed their time for each other as they were preparing and kind of mind-gaming it out.
Yeah, 4 Queen opening here from soO. So gasless for the time being until just now, takes 1 on the natural. Usually we'll want to take a second one pretty fast here. He might try to squeeze in his third third hatchery in a second, but then a second gas should definitely be following in. You can't do like get Zerglung speed, upgrades, Baleen S, whatever you want from a single gas.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit careful about that. Gumiho's going to start his wall off at the front as well, and as you said, you know, the kind of mech player that Gumiho has been showing and exhibiting in the past could come along again.
Definitely should we see that in the later stages, but he shows a starport for now, and it's going to be a medivac here more than likely. He could choose a Viking first, but a medivac here makes a lot of sense for the units he's got out, and he may try to drop these units around. And Hellion Marine going to deal a lot of damage. Remember, there is no tech lab on that barracks to get stim yet, so he's still building Marines. So he's going to have a nice little force out here, but he is going to be playing against 4 queens in total. Roachron has come down here from soO, and he's poking in, and he sees the starport factory and barracks. So he's not really going to be able to be aggressive, but he's definitely going to be able to push back any type of Hellbat play or something, which this actually looks like in his vision.
Yeah, the Overlord dies not in vain, though, because it gets that information. And behind this, double evolution chamber to complete the wall off. A few lings on the way, and he's freeing up some supply with that layer being added on as well, just to kind of hold him sturdy. He's already got some good creep spread already kind of extending out. He really wants it over at that third base, because holding that can sometimes be a bit annoying. Ooh, lings, are they going to get in? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, just, you know, hit some SCVs, whatever you can.
Nom 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 nom. Oh, even gets an SCV.
Yep, and might get a second here. Oh, I tried for 3, but only got 1.
Yeah, that was kind of close.
Full wall off here with Evos.
Medevac tried to drop, didn't really get much done. The Hellions at the front.
And missile attacks, interestingly enough, here from soO. Probably playing towards his opponent's tendencies, which is, like I said, mostly mech, so he already getting missile attacks here is a bit indication that he could be playing towards his opponent, or just very simply building towards an attack here with Roaches.
Hellion got really, really lucky there. The Roaches could have got off one more shot, but for now, they do get away, and the Medevac, likewise, hasn't really done much. There's one worker kill, but that's
and Gumiho doesn't really know what he's playing against, because you need to be building Marauders by now off that barracks. And if he does, if he's probably going to build Marines, because I'm not sure he thinks this is a heavy Roach play. 3 evolution chambers is a bit weird. It's like a panicky wall against potentially a you know, a Hellbat play. So
there's the double engineering bay, as you said. So.
Yeah, he's got stim on the way, so he's going to be playing bio, not mech. But this Roach heavy play could be very, very powerful unless it's identified soon. There are tanks on the way, though. This is pretty good here.
I mean, in general, we've actually seen quite a bit of Roach, like Hydra, mixed in on this map, and it's actually been really, really strong. So that could come along. Could be cool.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's got a lot of potential to do damage. He's got a high drone count. He's going to be powering up soon with his Roach army. Gumiho's got to feel this out soon, especially with this medevac. That's the only really thing. I suppose he's got the Hellions as well, but the medevac's got to feel this out. Why are the gases not quite taken yet? Usually Zerg takes these 5th and 6th gases immediately. Still no Marauder production. It's Marines, but tanks. 1 tank is good. Does he continue tanks?
Oh, many Roaches. Jeez.
He doesn't have enough yet. A second tank is in queue.
This poke at the right-hand side could be a little bit annoying, but again, there's a few Roaches with the Queens there to hold it on.
Still no gases, and he's seeing Roaches pop. That is a big scout here.
Yeah,
Not so much the attacks, but the scout was big.
Gets out with quite a few of those units, but at the same time, the Roaches are already pressuring the front. There's quite a lot of them here, but again, that tank at the top does cause a little bit of a problem. He goes back into drones, and there's the Spire as well. He's looking to transition on. Yeah,
it doesn't look like he can really get damage done here. Obviously, with a tank there, doesn't know if there's going to be more either, so he does pull out without trying to break down this wall. It would probably be very cost-efficient, but Gumiho kind of knows what he's playing against now and can start to react into this, but we see a switch up from soO back into melee, Baneling Nest, and Spire. The Roach attack has slowed him down, and it didn't work. Yeah,
and he actually got forced out of this third base before he saw the Spire, just on the left of that base. So a little bit of sadness. He sees all of those Roaches, and he's like, whoa, well, I dodged a bullet here.
Yeah, and he's making Marauders, and he's got a second tech lab for second Marauders. The Marauders not as useful now. I suppose he can deal with these Roaches, but he can't take his third right now. The Roaches are too heavy. That is the one good thing these Roaches do give him, is that the third cannot be taken easily until he gets these 1-1 and just kind of more units.
It's kind of cool also forcing your opponent to make these Marauders, which aren't going to be too amazing against the Mutalist switch out. Of course, though, when Banelings enter the frame, it's like the standard Zerg composition. The Marauders left at the front to soak up some Banelings will be nice. So they will have alternate purposes.
But with the Baneling Nest so late and the melee upgrade so late as well, these fights that Gumiho is going to be taking soon. He's a little bit late on his armory, by the way, for his 2-2, but the fights he'll be taking will be in his favor.
Roach is posturing a little bit there and have to be chased back. There's that stim. It's going to be really hard for those Roaches to do a whole lot even against this army, especially since the medevacs are there. It's not much damage for them.
Gumiho, who still thinks he's playing against the Roach Hydra type of play, does not have turrets. And this Mutalist switch as weak as it is, if Gumiho knows everything, can get into the SCV lines because there's no turrets. He doesn't know. He still thinks Roach Hydra.
Yeah. The creep spread still doing all right here for soO as well, who is actively spreading extra creep tumors down to this bottom right-hand side to fortify this
It's so funny because you play so different versus Roach Hydra than you do a regular game. You're a lot more aggressive. You're out there clearing creep, but he's scared about being overwhelmed by roaches and so on.
Yeah, because they showed so many so early on. So very, very difficult for Gumiho to properly read into. This Viking's been trying to find extra overlords where it can. Even just information it would get in the middle of the map would be nice, but it's been unsuccessful so far.
Yeah, there's no further information here. Mulisks are going towards... No, with the army, actually, currently. They should go towards the main. There's no turrets.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't know that, but he can definitely give it a poke.
Yeah, he can. The army moves on to creep now in the middle, and he shows quite a large extent of what he has.
Gumiho's adding on 2 extra tech labs to build even more marauders.
Wow.
He's just completely tricked right now.
Yeah, this is not the best.
But he's going to see Mulisks, and it's going to start to wonder.
Yeah, sees him on the right-hand side, starts adding missile turrets instantly, and actually the Hellions are buying him time to get those missile turrets up and running, so that's a nice start. And also, with these Hellions putting some pressure on the right-hand side, on the left, well, the drop's been cleaned up, so Gumiho, not too much.
No, this completely pushed back there. But Gumiho is just building way too many Marauders here in his composition. He's going to have to stick on a pure bio. You can't afford to be kind of playing Marauder, Marine, Mines, and Hellbats. It's just Marine Marauder. And you know what's really good against this is just mass bailing. There's no mines, there's nothing. You can just roll over this. The only thing that the Marauders could do is slow down the bailings and tank bailing hits, but
if you've
with
got
good
a
micro.
lot of bailings. Okay, so he loses a few lings at the front there. soO's just going to have to fall back to his creep spread and make sure that he's solidified there. But good scan will clearing up a lot of these active creep tumors.
soO's coming from multiple angles.
How much army does he really have here? The banelings on the right-hand side don't come in quite at the right time, but it's a bit of a massacre.
Yeah, not very good splits there, and the banelings get perfect detonations. And the game's, look at it, 200 supply to 143.
Yeah, is this where soO just keeps chasing? There is the opportunity to... Actually, that was a really good shot from the tank there to get some of those banelings at the start. The Mutalisks trying to get on top of these medevacs and kill them off, but there's too much reinforcements for Gumiho.
Yeah, I think our Chinese partner is a little bit laggy. Yeah. He's slowing the game down a bit earlier, so got to be careful about that. But, yeah, I mean, this is a wonderful position for soO. Absolutely wonderful.
More banelings, more and more of them, and he's banking up a lot of minerals now across these 4 bases because the Hellions and drop pressure on the left-hand side as well didn't really do what it needed to against all of this, and it hasn't slowed soO down. So his macro has been flying throughout the entire time, and he's going to get pushed back just again. But as these banelings come in, this is where Gumiho has to leave. Unless they don't actually get past the roaches, they're kind of bottled up at the back, so really not getting into the engagement properly. This is a little bit sad there for soO, but they do filter on through eventually. And do some damage, but this could have been a whole lot better for soO if those banelings had got forwards.
Yeah, a lot of medivacs finally starting to target them down.
There's not that many Marines there left, actually. If he actually killed those off, then this medivacs would be naked. But
yeah, medivacs, got to bring them down here. But pure Marine Marauder right now, he's starting to add in a few Widow Mines, but like I said, he's got to keep on building a lot of stuff here. But off 4 bases, soO's not taking his gas on his 4th. That is a mistake here. A huge mistake, actually. His gas definitely could be a lot higher than that.
It takes it as you say it.
Yeah, definitely a mistake. But Gumiho's done okay. He's pushed the creep back, actually. You know, considering the circumstances, he's pushed the creep back. He's got a decent setup. The one thing that, you know, could happen here that soO's not really thinking about is maybe a counterattack to the 3rd. You know, lings, ling, bailing. There's nothing over there. He doesn't really know it, but we see bailing attacks all the time here, but they're not in this game. I think soO's definitely just kind of taking this game for granted a little bit of such a good position he's in that he's not playing to his usually standard.
Yeah, I think he's also kind of realizing, well, hey, you didn't really have many Widow Mines during all of this, so he's going up to like 40 or 50 banelings in this army, really committing a lot of gas to it. But now, of course, there are a few Widow Mines sprinkled in here, whilst Gumiho was trying to take a 4th base behind this down the avenue that he wants to be aggressive.
Yeah, and there's a drop on this left-hand side. The creep spread's not good, the overload spread's not that good either, and this drop could do damage. It's very easy to see it, though, so he splits up his forces and is going to send units over there.
Yeah, he drops just a few to actually try and kill off this base on the left-hand side, or at least tickle away at it, and decides, well, he's been spotted by
This is like an all-in from Gumiho. He's just building a massive army. He doesn't have 3-3 on the way. He's kind of lifted up his main command center to take a 3rd. He has to kill Syl soon.
This army is going to get crushed from either side here. That's a lot of banelings crashing forwards onto this force, but the extent of the bioforce actually isn't fully here, so he's just going to keep going with banelings. There's no Widow Mines under this army to really protect it. It's a little bit sketchy here for Gumiho. He loses a lot during this.
Yeah, he gets the medivacs now, though.
Yeah, losing those is a big deal. That's very, very gas intensive. And those 2 Widow Mines don't even get a chance to fire throughout this fight.
For soO, you just make all your lings and make another round of banelings and then go again.
Yep. His army supply is looking good. The Mutalisks are still on top of the majority of this army. He could back off now against these Marines, but he actually just takes the fight. There's not that many of them. And
every single medivac died there.
Yeah. And that is a sorry army. 8 Marines and 3 Marauders left. And this base is gone. There you go. GG. soO takes game number 1. And it was pretty clean cut for him. Shut down some aggression on either side of the map and then just spread creep through the middle and push forwards.
Yeah. It's, I mean, soO is very, very good there. He was in great shape. I don't think Gumiho really knew exactly what he was playing against throughout that game there. You know, he's the meching player who was then playing against a Roach game where he thought he could probably stay playing against Roaches there, but the switch up from soO just threw him off, and he didn't have the right army. You don't really want just a Marine Marauder army, to be honest. You do want, you know, to add in the Thors, the Widow Mines, maybe some Hellbats in there, but Marine Marauder alone, it's... Unless you've got the best splits in the world, which we didn't really see throughout that game, it's not going to work.
Yeah. And overall, I mean, soO, as much as he hasn't had to play Terrans during this tournament, there was a big period of time where he was practicing just for Terran when it came to the GSL finals a month or so back, as we saw him using really, really aggressive plays there in that series as a whole, and he could quite happily do that against Gumiho if he gets a whiff of his opponent trying to play a very, very macro-intensive long game out. So there is still a lot of room here for soO to kind of diversify up and make this series pretty fast.
Well, this next map is going to be on Deadwing, which is, you know, a big map. It's the biggest map in the map pool. If Gumiho is going to play mech, it's going to be a very long game for sure. This is a lot more difficult for soO to execute any aggressive strategies, Roach Banelings on and stuff like this, because it is such a large map here. So, you know, typically the average game is a lot longer. So I'm expecting that to be.
Yeah, true. With the map, that's certainly right. But overall, it's a really good show of force by Gumiho to have, in the last series, have taken out Life, of all people. It really shows kind of the position that his TVZ is in right now. So, but going up against soO, again, best dog in the world, it's like, it's a bit difficult.
Right.
Are we good to go? These guys are sorting things out. But we'll be getting into this in just a little second. If soO does advance on, he shall be playing against Hero. Again, that will be the final series of the day. Hero going up against one of these guys. And then the winner of that advances on to San Jose, along with Rain, who advanced on through the upper bracket. So overall, 3 great players. One of these advancing on to San Jose along with Rain. It's nice. I'm okay with this.
That's right. It's going to be a pretty cool second game here. No matter who goes through, Gumiho or soO, I think a lot of people are hoping soO can go through to place up against Hero, because I think soO versus Hero is a huge game. Now, I mean, I can't wait to potentially cover that. But Gumiho is making a comeback in his career recently and definitely can continue to do so if he was able to eliminate the 4-time GSL finalist here. I think it would be an upset if he was to do that. So soO, for me, definitely favored. He already showed his strength previously against other opponents, and has shown it again in this series.
All right, and countdown is on the way, so we're about to get into Deadwing for game number 2 between soO and Gumiho. But just with how we've seen Gumiho play yesterday and today, transitioning on, I think, you know, going into the later stages of this year and in the qualifiers for things that we have coming up, etc., I think we're going to see more of him. He's doing really, really nicely.
Yes, he is. I mean, just doesn't really have a team to be able to send him to tournaments, but I mean, he's playing in the online qualifiers, the online cups, and he is doing well. He's seen his name a lot more recently because he is getting deep in these tournaments, and he's very deep in this one. To be able to be at this stage, qualifying through yesterday and the Korean qualifier, to then come in today with the invited player, the C players, the Chinese players, and he's still here, and you know, he's top 4 currently. There's only 2 slots available though, so as much as top 4 is good and top 3 is good, you need to be top 2.
Yeah, and with people like soO and Hero studying your way, it's going to be pretty difficult, although, as you said, he's made it this far. So let's get into game number 2 now, as we have, spawning up to the top left-hand corner, as our blue Terran, it is, of course, Gumiho, currently 1 game down. And down to the bottom right-hand corner, it's our SK Telecom T1 representative, it is soO.
That's right. The best Zerg, so lots to learn from this guy. I think he played that game up very well, and as soon as he got shut down from his Roach play, he you know, gathered as much as he could in terms of value from those Roaches, and just kind of, okay, well, I've got all these Roaches, you're not taking your 3rd for a while, and while you cannot take your 3rd, I'll switch up, I'll get my 4th up and running, I'll get my drone count back up high, and he did all that very, very well and very swiftly. But this time, Gumiho, I felt that throughout that game, he just didn't really have a good, kind of presence in that game. He didn't really know what was going on very much. He was kind of just doing his own thing for a lot of it. But he's got to feel out soO a little bit more with his units and just kind of adapt a little bit more to what soO is doing.
Now, even though this map is like a really, really, really big map, is there still the opportunity for soO to get aggressive? Because of the way which the natural is structured, there's no like ramp to exploit like high ground potential or anything. Is there the potential for soO to do something like that, or do you think he'll happily just play this out long again?
Play this out long.
Yeah? Yeah,
I mean, the size of the map, whatever position that Gumiho spawned in, top left or top right, it's really, really big to be able to pull off super aggression. It's a far distance away from your opponent. He's going to spot it a lot easier because usually the Reaper or Hellions are going to be on your side of the map. They're going to be outside your natural, and by the time they see it, he's got bucket loads of time to be able to adapt and set his defense up.
Yeah, Gumiho just positioning his barracks in such a way that the add-on will form an extra little bit of that wall, and soO, on the other hand, hatchery first, not really kind of opening up with the spawning pool as he did in the previous game, because it is such a big map. It's going to be very difficult for Gumiho to put on earlier aggression. We have seen 2 Rexes on this map sometimes in the very middle, but it's often that's why he's sending the Overlord through the middle of the first, right?
Right.
Just in case it was there.
Yeah, you could have spotted it if it was. Gumiho opening up with a build that's not as common on this map, Reaper Expand. It's definitely used, but you do see a lot more barracks command centers or command center first here because of the map size, and you really want to play greedy and be able to power up for the mid game and really get active once 2-2 is complete, your upgrades for your Marines and Marauders or whatever. So, unfortunately for him, Reaper Expand not the best economic build, still good. We'll see if he goes for a 3rd command center quite fast here, or if he wants to try to play a little bit more technical like he did before, which was the starport a lot earlier on for the Marine and Hellions, which didn't do that much for him previously.
And Reaper's going to head down to the bottom left-hand to start this off. Oh, actually touches the watchtower and just heads away, so not even looking to get aggressive himself. Oh, hello. Oh. All right, okay. So Reaper is actually going to stay home and watch out for Lings again, so he gets no information at the moment.
No, 0.
Actually, that being said, did the Reaper see the positioning of the Overlord and where it was coming from? Because then he could infer that he was down to the bottom right-hand corner, right?
Potentially, yeah. But I don't think he's too worried about where soO is, to be honest.
He's just going to play his own game.
Like, his Hellions can do that after.
Yeah.
So just gasless style coming out from soO like he did before. Gasless style is the best way to transition smoothly into a Roach game, because you get your double evolution chambers down pretty fast after the double gas, after the double gases, and it's just kind of a lot smoother. You get a lot more power coming out from a gasless style, which you can move into Roach play a lot easier. Gumiho though, 3 command centers, and it looks like he's just going to play. Well, with that barracks there, he might build a tech lab in a second. If it is, it looks like it's... No, actually, he's moving back over here. So with the barracks in this position, is less likely to be bio. So none of the gas going to be... Okay, no.
What is he?
Okay, it is going to be bio, because now he does have space for a tech lab.
That was interesting.
There's bits of upsy-daisy there from him. It also could be a second factory, which he could squeeze onto that there as well. But that would need to be built already, kind of, or in a second.
Yeah, it'd have to come out a little bit quicker. But overall, soO's covering his bases. He's making sure that these rocks go down quickly so that this position can't be exploited with a medevac and tank. Because right now, this Overlord has been poking around, but it hasn't really seen any of the infrastructure. It hasn't seen what a factory is up to, or even if a starport was on the way. So soO is playing cautiously. These rocks are annoying on this map. Very annoying sometimes.
Roach Warren and Lair. So Roach Warren and Lair starting at the same time does imply that we're going to see Roach speed really early on. So it does look like a Roach heavy game again.
Roach Warren's in an interesting location as well, away from the idea of scanning right on top of a hatchery.
And away from Hellions at the front as well. So it is hidden. Evolution Chambers come down shortly after. So it does look like he's aiming towards a 1-1 Roach timing.
Ooh.
And he's been caught via his greed because he has no unit.
Okay, so
sacrifice a couple of drones here.
And actually, notice this. The drones were trying to block the vision up the ramp, and he saw a building just at the very last second. Yeah. So he does see the Roach Warren, a mini Roach Warren, as it looks like.
Yeah, it's just saw it morphing there.
Yeah.
But not. He did quite well then, only to lose 5 drones. Great control with his drones to turn them around on the ramp to prevent more drones dying, some sacrificial ones.
It is mech.
It is mech. It is indeed. So we are going to see a longer game here. And to be honest, this 1-1 Roach style, if we see commitment to Roaches with just 1-1 upgrades, it shouldn't really work. Because there should be multiple tanks by the time 1-1 completes. And with a wall of supply depots or whatever, you're going to have a hard time breaking it. So if soO does not know what he's playing against... Oh, no, he does, because he's seen the double armory, by the looks of it, in his vision.
Oh, did he?
So this would mean he will not be building a lot of Roaches now, and should be just taking a 4th base and droning up heavily, maybe looking for a 2-2 Roach timing.
Yeah.
1-1 timing shouldn't really work. 2-2 could, 4th base could.
And I think one of the reasons why Gumiho has to play this really long if he's going to play mech, right, is because if you are in his position, going across the map with mech can take a long time.
soO doesn't know he's playing against mech, though. He's seen the structures, but I don't think he knows it's mech. They could be still engineering base, technically. So now he does.
Surely he clicked on them, right?
Well, he built an Overseer and waited until the Overseer morphed before he chose to build 12 Roaches.
Yeah, okay.
So waiting for that kind of says that he wasn't too sure.
Yeah, you make a good point. Maybe he just, like, was busy with the Hellions.
Yeah, right. But he's at 60 drones. He's building a lot of Roaches. And he is going to attempt a bit of a push through here with 1-1 upgrades, as you can see. So this is the more difficult approach, I think.
Yeah, trying to keep that siege tank count low and
kill them off. But the siege tanks
fast.
are very vulnerable because they are on the 3rd base.
Yeah.
And obviously there is no wall.
And behind all of this, soO spreading a lot of creeps red to try and get those reinforcements across
quickly. Gumiho does not know what's up here. If he knew, he'd be pulling the tanks a little bit further back and he'd be building some wall, some kind of help and assistance to his tanks. His tanks are too vulnerable.
At least he saw it in the Watchtower vision.
He did, but it's almost too late. He has to morph immediately to Hellbats. He's got to siege up these tanks. He may have to pull SCVs here.
He has very few units. Very few units.
Yeah, he has to pull SCVs. He's got nothing. He's got 3 tanks.
Roach is going straight into this. If they get a few SCVs, that'd be nice, but they want to get towards these tanks, and they do get towards one of them. Any more reinforcing Roaches here are going to be over pretty fast speed done. And he goes back into drones behind getting all of these tanks.
Yeah, he breaks through the first set of defense, breaks into the economy line, and then sets up a tech switch with the Spire.
Oh dear.
And Gumiho he didn't know this was happening again.
Yeah, saw it a little bit late. The Roaches is just going to keep going forwards. There's actually not even another siege tank here. It's just going to be about the floor. The SCV should be able to make sure this doesn't land in a killing blow or anything like that, but it's really annoying.
There is an engineering bay for turrets, but Mulus is the last thing he's really thinking of right now. It's more like, oh my god, I need my 3rd now. I'm falling behind, because he knows a 4th and probably 5th is going to be taken behind all of this. And 2-2 starts for soO. A great attack there. Successful.
He's at 80 drones now, and he's going up to even more. His economy is going to be so overwhelming compared to the positioning Gumiho is, because he was almost, in essence, supply blocked under 100 supply, whereas soO is opening up that supply, really getting that production going now.
This is not good. Not good for Gumiho. He's starving now on 2 bases. You have the Infestation Pit, which can actually lead up towards further upgrades, can lead up towards Vipers coming in. Overseer has a quick look inside, sees another command center, sees just 3 factories. That's good news, because the production's very low, obviously, because he's hunted and really destroyed that economy. And from this position, 4 or 5 bases. There's obviously, when you play mech, you have to wait till you have a huge army before you can move anywhere. So soO has the freedom in this game. Complete freedom.
Yep. His economy is going to be amazing. His production is going to be furious. And then from there on out, he did get the infestation. Did he get the infestation?
Yep.
Yeah. So he has every tool at his disposal here right now.
Yep. He can choose what he wants to do. Where with the Infestation Pit, he could play Swarmos, he could go up to Hive and Vipers, he could further his upgrades to 3-3 after getting the Hive. But everything is just miles and miles ahead for soO. Gumiho has been played.
Yep. Roaches moving.
80 Mulisks.
Oh,
whoa,
wow.
Not expecting that.
All right,
well, looking at it, in soO's vision, there's only 1 Thor that he's seen. He does see a bunch of Vikings, but there's only 3 factories, which obviously is only 1 or 2 Thors, but 1 or 2 Thors you're not really going to be making when you're worried about Roach and Hydra and different types of plays. You're meant to be building tanks, so...
Yep, this is going to be a bit difficult. Raven's being added on here, though, for Gumiho, so he is well-versed in mech, as we've mentioned many times before. Extra factories being added on, but is it too late? Because the Mutalisks are going to start hitting, and there's only like a missile turret in a mineral line. Will that stop 20 Mutalisks? I don't think so. Ah, he's adding on more missile turrets. It's kind of important. Okay.
Yeah, and just about here.
And Enduring Locust is on the way. So Swarm Host Mutalisk is a composition that we've seen a lot against mech, and it can be really, really annoying.
Absolutely, especially when the income's so high for soO, and you know, Gumiho's only just now taken the third, but 20 Mutalisk is a lot. They're going to destroy turrets very easily.
Yeah, even those, I mean, those two that are there, it doesn't really matter. That first one's going to fall, he couldn't even get on top of it to repair it. Second one falls whilst it's being repaired, and this is a bit of a disaster.
And the thing is, when you've got so much money as soO has, you can just keep tech switching to whatever you choose. Yeah, to be honest, you should be seeing the Hive start as well to give more options to mix up with.
He's almost got 100 drones mining away at the moment. But yeah, he's just going to be able to replenish anything he really wants to. The most important part of all these outlying bases is the gases, because right now he's up at 1,200 gas per minute. So many Mutalisks.
The thing is, Mutalisks become less and less useful throughout the game here, so I'm not sure if he'll stick on these Mutalisks and continue to build more. I think he'll probably just have the ones he's got and then start to switch around again.
Yeah.
And by switching around with a Hive coming in, I'd expect some Vipers, probably, some 3/3 upgrades. Swarm Host is fine as well. Like, he's got multiple options. But Gumiho's got to play this very long. If he wants to win this game, we're talking 30, 40, 50-minute game.
Yeah, and look how far the creep spreads up. Look, but we have now the Swarm Hosts coming into play that are going to start sieging up towards that third base. Of course, the siege tanks should be able to hold them at bay for a little bit, but it's just a starvation game out of soO from this point on.
soO's slightly on too many drones, though, for this style, I'd probably imagine, because he's not going to be able to build a good amount of Swarm Hosts. Like, he's only got 6 now with the 6th coming in. And that's not enough to break any siege tanks and so on. So it's more that's going to tickle Gumiho. That won't do much.
Yeah. Gets himself a missile turret and a few more extra workers at this location, but those Thors do cause him a bit of a problem here. And I think Gumiho wants...
He's not happy about that lag again, is he?
Yeah, because it's going to get more intense, basically, isn't it?
Yeah. I can't talk in the chat. I'm just an observer. Why wasn't I made a ref?
Yeah,
I've had permission from the admin to say out to the Chinese caster.
He would be able to hear you, right?
Technically, yeah, I guess.
So the players wouldn't, of course, but
okay.
he
If
would.
it pauses again and Gumiho complains again, I'm telling this guy to get out.
Yep.
I've been given permission from the admins.
Oh, okay. Missile turret's going to fall pretty fast here. He even gets a siege tank during all of that. Oh, yeah, decides to get it. So this is a few Mutalisks for it, but look at his bank right now. That's the big story of this.
Loses a couple of Mutalisks, replenishes with Swarm Hosts, and he will siege into this. Also upgrading multiple different upgrades now too. You can always switch into Ultralisk from this point, depending on the composition. Is going to get double Spire upgrades coming in, so he can switch into Corruptors if need be.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, it takes so long for Gumiho here. He drops a scan to kill off one burrowed roach or something like that, but he'll have to clean out so much creep spread to even get over the other side of the map before he can do really anything.
Yeah, he's got to sit back and not just mine from his 4 bases. You can build up the Death Army from 4 bases for sure.
Yeah.
If it's going to be ground or air, though, I'm not sure. He's only on 1 starport, which I would imagine with a 4th base and the gases there, you'd want to add on more. Because the Death Ball is an air. Like, it's Raven and Vikings.
Yes, definitely.
So what he's on currently is going to get owned by Swarm Hosts. And
yeah, only 6 siege tanks against Swarm Hosts. I don't think that's really going to cut it too well. He's going to actually lose a lot of these Hellbats and maybe even a Thor or 2 as these Locusts start pressuring forwards. Not that many right now, of course, but if you can get more Swarm Hosts, that would be pretty sick. I mean, any Hellion here dying is pretty annoying, and one is already low.
Yeah, there's nowhere for him to counter. He's just got to sit on 4 bases. He's got all these Hellions. Actually could do a lot of damage here, but Mutalisks are in support.
Yeah.
And like I said, from this position, soO is owning it. Like, he can do anything he wants. He's got all the money he needs. Oh no, the Mutalisks have left the Swarm Hosts. That was a little bit of a mistake.
Yeah, you don't see this ever so often. Hellions getting some Swarm Host kills. So good opportunity taken there by Gumiho. But as you said, soO can do what he wants. He could just take the entire bottom left-hand corner and the top right-hand corner of this map. And nothing would really stop him at this point.
Yeah, the only thing he would never allow is a 5th base to be taken.
Yeah. He's already got roaches up there to see if anything's really going to move over there. Thor's going to move out with this army. And it is 3-3, so it's a very, very strong mech army, along with the 3-3 on the air, because of
Clearing
course,
some creep now, which is always good.
Yeah, it's a nice start. Vikings trying to zone out so that the Hellions can actually get on top of those creep tumors.
A couple of spines been added onto some back bases to make sure he doesn't die to any Hellion run-bys or lose drones to it. He's got to keep his income high.
Yeah.
But currently, Hellion, to be honest, I think Morse almost is better at this point.
With the lack of tanks. I mean, oh, okay, so he's actually up to 12 tanks now, but they're very scattered. They really need to be all in the same position to clear those waves nicely.
Yeah, I wonder what he's going to choose, because he's just adding on more Mutalisks at the moment. Going up to 30. But I don't think 30 is obviously very good against 3-3 Thors, Vikings, and point defense drones in the mix. And
the Swarm has truly consumed this map, man.
Come around and start picking off turrets easily.
This is not looking too brilliant here for Gumiho, but he is building up a little bit of a bank of his own. But these missile turrets, maybe they'll get a few Mutalisks, but they're all going to die off, and then he needs to replenish those. That's going to cut into his bank if he wants to keep these bases alive. So
yeah, he can pick off this command center if he. Well, he's going to be close. Probably doesn't want to risk it to lose any Mutalisks. Adds on 11 more. That is a lot. Okay, so he's going high with Mutalisks. They are at +3 attack and +1 armor currently.
And there's only 2 Ravens, so it's not really too much of a huge threat.
Yeah, it's not a super high threat, but the Thors, I think, are going to be the biggest threat. I don't think he can combat the Thors.
9 Thors soon after this next one gets finished. And he's finding room for some Hellbat drops on the left-hand side. But he'll find a base down to that bottom left, and then he'll find more bases, and then he'll be like, God damn it.
There is a lot.
All right, so he's pushing further onto creep here. Losing Hellbats along the way.
Oh, my PC crashed.
I think...
Ah, my PC crashed.
Oh, it's you. Oh.
Oh, I think it's dead.
Yeah, I think you're gone, man.
They'll pause it in a second.
Yeah, they must do. Pause, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to try and control all out. I don't need to be in it. Peace.
I wish I could talk to them.
I'm peace. I'm gone.
So many lag.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
My PC crashed.
So you're going to drop out.
Peace. Peace.
That's okay.
Can you write in there? Just go. Can you write?
Go.
After.
After.
I don't know if they know the word after.
It's okay. That.
I don't think that's too complicated.
Yeah. It's
just
okay.
Go. Yeah, so in this position, it's kind of difficult, I think, for Gumiho still. He's got a lot of Thors, so I'm a little bit worried for soO, because this push could be deadly. I mean, he can threaten the counterattack with Mutalisks, but what else can he do? Gumiho really, he's got a good amount of Thors, but then again, you got 4,000 gas in the bank. The Ultras Cavern's done. There's obviously still a Roach Warren. I guess we'll find out when he comes back in what he's going to choose.
Yeah. But as you mentioned, this game being drawn out long. Hopefully they're good to go. Go. Yeah, go. Okay. So there's something going on here. Oh, Hellbats against Roaches. Only finding a few. But the main brunt of the force is pushing through and getting on top of the Swarm Host. They have to run away. Jeez, they took a lot of damage from one volley.
Yeah, I want to see what soO's going to do, because this is a push coming his way. He's got the Roaches as a counter. Where are the Mutalisks?
They were... Where are they? I'll click on them in a second. Somewhere.
There's only 18 of them. That's not a lot.
Yeah, that isn't a lot. This army,
he needs to choose. Like maybe Ultralisks. The upgrades are pretty good for them now.
Yeah. 2-2 should be finished before he actually has to take that
He's
fight.
He's got to choose an army. You can build any army, so choose which one.
He's certainly got to do something before all of his production dies off.
He's got Roaches everywhere. All he's got to do is stop the army. He's just got to choose the right unit.
Yeah. What's it going to be? It's soO Roulette. 19 Mutalisks.
He's going to challenge the Thors then.
How is he going to... That's a lot of Thors. That's 7 Thors.
Yeah.
So 1 or 2 of them need to get picked off somehow, some way. Unless he just goes for a full-blown base trade.
Yeah, I suppose he could try that.
27 Mutas, oh
but
jeez.
The Roaches have destroyed everything in the Mutalisks. He just needs to stop this army, then he wins the game. And then moves on to play Hero, more importantly.
And they're all going to pop here, and he now knows. Well, yeah, he pretty much knows.
There's a lot of Mutalisks. That is a lot. Like 22 in production. He's probably already got 40 out.
Yeah, he's lost a lot.
37 is like 60 Mutalisks.
Yeah, that is a lot. Some died off just then. These Thors got a few volleys, I think, whilst all of this army down to the bottom was pushing. More Mutalisks on the way. 44. This looks like just base trade territory. These 2 Ravens plus the Thors and the Vikings provide so much damage against that. To engage it straight up would be perilous, but there's so many outlying bases as well for soO that how does Gumiho clean all this up? Oh, he's actually taking the engagement. All right then, he's going to kill off like a lot of these Thors.
Yeah, it's spreading out.
32 Mutalisks still remain. There's 11 Thors still on the field. There's some at the back. There's only 23.
Thor's
four.
Mulus are dropping fast.
Yeah, there's 21, 22. Where are the swarm hosts? There's 8 swarm hosts somewhere, but they're just not doing anything.
I wonder if, Mulus is the right choice.
It's a bit weird. Hey, look how much gas he has left.
A nice micro by Gumiho as well, picking up the Thors that are looking to get hit, and that's it. The Mulus are gone. I mean, what else is he building? Because he had a lot of money.
More Mutalisks. He went up just as more Mutalisks. There's 31 on the production. Here.
Yeah.
I don't think this really was the best choice.
Well, clearly not.
He needs to bleed this away somehow. The Mutalisks are now going for reinforcements. If they could catch these couple before they join the main force, but it looks like he's not going to. He's just going to go straight for the base trade still. This was kind of weird. Kind of weird.
Yeah, Thors are really good, especially 3/3 Thors.
Thors are really good, yeah.
And now Gumiho's got the supply lead and has a chance to equalize this series.
Oh, those 2 Thors just ripped apart a lot of Mutalisks.
Yeah, soO could have built anything. Roaches. I mean, Roaches maybe not the best choice. Ultras, I think, was the better one.
Straight away before he got right on top of the production.
He could have,
he could
have gone for a base trade. He could have killed off those 3 Thors. It could have been more swarm hosts as the push was coming across the map. It could have been anything.
Neither player has any income. soO has the opportunity to just like make drones at other bases and keep going, but I don't know how he shuts down this army.
Well, it's Thor 4s. This isn't a lot if you can rebuild the Mulus count high enough.
But if the 5 from the main base get to them as well, they're trying to protect this to get more mining. Because he just doesn't have anything to do.
You just got to build Thors. You've got enough tanks to stop any ground army pretty much at this stage.
I think in the long run, soO can still win, but he has to dance around over and over and over and over. Gumiho has a really strong force here, especially with the ability to throw down some Hunter Seekers if those Mutalisks get too close as well.
I just don't. It seems like it's impossible, I think, at this point for soO to be able to do this. He's got Lings, though, so Lings could, if they wrap around the Thors, be a nuisance, but of course Thors are going to target the Mulus anyway, so it's not as good as it used to be, but still possible. But I think he'd just throw away the units if he did that, though. He still has these Swarmos dealing damage.
I think the Locusts just need to bleed him dry. Like, that's
yeah, maybe.
He's making another infestation pit, realizing that maybe that's the only route. More swarm hosts and then draw it out really long. If he can get a tank or 2 with each Locust wave, that would be nice.
And the creature is still pretty good too, and it's only Thors, and Thors are not good versus swarm hosts.
It looks like the Mutalisks on this left-hand side are just threatening to find any extra bases that would go down. But, I mean, at this point, it's up to
How many drones does soO have now?
33.
Yeah, that's that's 1.5, 2 bases worth almost.
There's a lot of orbitals here though for the mules to just keep landing. Refinery.
He's got 600 gas now, soO. And that infestation pit did finish.
Like, how does this army here, that's looking to put on pressure here, get down all the way to this bottom left-hand corner in good time to actually shut it down before he gets some nice gas going? I guess Medivacs would be the option, right? But if they got caught off by the Mutalisks, then that could be a disaster.
Yeah.
Good job, Thor. Keep going.
7 more Swarmhosts, so it is going to be ground. He's going to try and build up that Swarmhost count. He's got, what, 8 out so far or something? 16 is a good number. Anything higher than 16 starts to get really scary.
He's trying to weaken off the Thors, but mules could just land from the orbitals and start repairing that.
Yep.
There's really no mining going on at all for Gumiho now.
No, this is his tournament life on the line. He's trying to survive here, but I think soO's starting to get back into this with mining base down to the bottom left.
Yeah.
A lot of hatcheries elsewhere. A lot of creep spread, going to really speed up these Locusts as they travel across the middle of the map, and any kill they get, any damage they do. I mean, a Hellion here, Hellion there, Hellion everywhere, and it's okay. I mean, it's something. And he can keep, he's got a lot of room to mess around with too, because he's got a lot of space, a lot of creep.
Well, he's going to try and continue through the middle against this creep spread, and is this going to burn down? The Thors seem to want it to burn down because they want to escape. There you go. Kaboom.
Oh, he does not want to lose Swarmos though. That's a lot of Locusts, but they're a little bit trapped.
Yeah, they are. This might force a proper engage.
Oh, the drop of Thors, I think that is.
Oh, that's really sick. That's
with
really,
the Raven
really sick.
hunting as well.
Yeah, they can't burrow. They can't actually get out of here. He's going to lose a lot of these swarm hosts. Even Hunter Seeker missiles on top of this as well. He picks up the Thors and tries to get out of there.
Yeah, a lot of damage dealt there by Gumiho.
Really nice move.
Locust do get a good set of tanks, though.
Oh, jeez.
4 or 5 tanks.
If he gets almost all of the tanks, that could force like a lot of links to just be produced from all of these hatcheries. And then
maybe the armor's too much now on these Thors, though.
Yeah,
It's a lot of Thors and a lot of hit points. It would be very difficult.
But
I don't think the Lings are fully upgraded either.
He's going to keep dancing. Mutalisks, 19 of them only left.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to replenish all of his tech at some point soon. Losing these Spires, losing... But soO's not giving up.
Well, small almost. 5 more. You know, give it another whack.
Only 7 out so far. This army is just brutal. How do you break it?
It seems like it can't be broken. I mean, Gumiho's at 170 supply to 115 of soO. And I think it all came down to that tech choice that, you know, what he maybe the build-up before it a little bit.
Yeah.
But maybe, you know, didn't need to be on 100 drones and pure Mutalisk. Maybe he should have started thinking about increasing that Swarmos count to prevent any push-outs. But I think he's pretty much dead. I mean,
yeah.
With this drop as well, it's another 2 Swarmos come down, but soO can't really afford to replenish. And
I really feel the medevacs have been the MVPs here. Just being able to chase them down and say, well, I'm just going to negate your Swarm hosts completely, unless the Mutalisks are with them. And then there's too many Thors and too many Vikings. Too much everything. There you go, GG. Gumiho is able to take the second game, bringing this 1-1.
That's right.
Keeping his hopes alive.
Yeah, so he's got another chance here to go up against soO in another game. But that was like the best mech map to kind of play on. Yeah. Maybe Nimbus, I suppose, you could try mech on as well. Maybe that's the third map here, depending on how the vetoes went and so on. But yeah, I guess we'll find out. But I think it all came down to soO messing that one up more so because he was controlling the game fully. It was his game, all for the majority of it, until that one push came out, and that's where Gumiho turned around.
Yep. Oh, wow. Good job by Gumiho there to keep himself alive in this. Average unspent resources, 4,000 against 800. So that really tells us the story of how soO was playing in that. He was just building up a huge bank and then really not able to utilize it properly. It's a little bit of shame there for soO.
Yeah, so loading into this next one now, depending on the map, can really depend on what we're going to see. Because Gumiho can play mech, he can play bio again, and he can do other stuff too. But it really comes down to the map and what it favors more so. And soO obviously has a lot of chances to mix it up as well.
All right, so we're just waiting for them to host this map. And then when they are here, we're good to go. Meanwhile, Hero is having a whale of a time, just relaxing and chilling. Although, that being said, I imagine it's getting a little bit later now in Korea. So they'll be
it's around midnight, I think, now.
Yeah. Do you have any particular favorites here? I'm still going with soO. I still think soO's... you know, if he shuts the game down a little earlier.
soO has won, in my opinion, both of these games, if he played it out properly.
Yeah.
He's beaten Gumiho in the majority of small skirmishes that they've had. It was just the one wrong decision that cost him the game there. But if he'd chosen the right one, he would have won. And he's kind of played Gumiho quite well, I think, so far in this series. So despite the score being 1-1, still definitely favoring soO.
I think it's really, really difficult for soO. Even in that second game, it's difficult if the mech army is like on top of, in between like the 3rd and 4th location where it was, to make units and then rally them out and kill. Like, you have to be taking the engagement earlier than that because everything will just not congeal properly as your army and never take a proper fight, even though you've got a huge bank. So, yeah, soO's time ran out quite heavily in that game. Where is our third game? Why are they not hosting it?
Looks like they're taking a couple of seconds here just to think about what they're going to do, probably.
Well, it's a shame that we didn't see the veto process, because then we could have known what map was going to be next. But Gumiho is in a map, so we'll be joining in just a little bit.
You have to tell me what map it is once you join in.
I think now that yours is in the English language, you can tell as well.
Oh, yeah.
So you're okay. It's going to be Catalina.
Okay, so Catalina is a difficult map to play mech on for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, mostly because you're going to have a ring of turrets inside your main base. It's massively open in the middle of the map. If you're going to try and get to your opponent, you're going to have to hug the sidelines, which can obviously be covered by Swarmhouse very well. So, it's a good setting for soO to not tie this up, but to win the series, to go up against Hero.
Yeah. And then depending on if Hero does end up going up against soO, which is, again, it's the kind of anticipated series of a lot of people here through the lower bracket. Again, we've been seeing Hero being quite aggressive in what he's doing against Zergs as of late. So we'll find out. Our Chinese caster is being slow. Go, 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 go. So apparently we're just waiting.
Yeah, but this would be, if Gumiho was able to do this, like a massive, massive win here to be a player that really hasn't been in the GSL competing for a long, long time, to be able to, beat a 4-time GSL finalist in a best of 3 here. It's pretty big. So this is a big moment for Gumiho. He hasn't been to an international event in, I don't even know how long now. It's years. So if he was able to go through this, go through to Hero, and then still qualify, it's massive. Obviously, soO and Hero are huge favorites here. More so soO, I would imagine, over Hero. But that game going to be pretty epic, I'm sure. But I'm looking at soO to go the way, to take the 2nd place in this qualifier would make sense. If he was able to go through here, Gumiho and Hero.
It's destined.
Right.
2nd place. Poor guy. But yeah, I suppose you can't complain too much about 2nd place. soO's won quite a bit of money off getting 2nd place at all these tournaments. He just could have won a little bit more, I guess. If he'd have gone all those firsts.
GSL 1st place is a lot of money. He would have been a millionaire if he won all 4.
It is quite a bit of cash, yeah. All right, so 3rd map. Catalina loading up now. Gumiho versus soO to determine who is going to go on to play against Hero in the final series of the night. Up to the top right-hand corner, it is our blue Terran, playing out a hell of a long game and bringing it forwards. It is Gumiho. And down to the bottom right, it is our red Zerg player representing SK Telecom. It is soO.
Okay, so this map obviously it's got a huge wide open area in the middle of the map, which is fantastic for Zerg. Makes it really easy to engage into any form of army that Gumiho has, whether it be just bio or mech. He can surround it from multiple angles. It's brilliant. So that is good. Gumiho is definitely going to have to hugging the sides. More so the right-hand side of this map is going to be his, whether he plays bio or mech. All these alleyways is perfect for mines and so on, and just being safer. And I don't know which way he's going to go with this. Does he want to change up drastically his build? I think Reaper is a fine choice on this map to open up with. It's small. The spawning pool first happens quite often, so you can be safer against early Ling plays. A gas coming in. Not normal.
No.
soO is maybe doing this here because Gumiho for each game has gone Reaper, but has kept one single Reaper at home every game.
Yes, he has.
Just to protect himself against, 1 or 2 Lings, but a flood of Lings, you're in trouble.
Very much so.
He's chosen the 13 gas in this game, which looks more so like maybe just a reactor expansion, maybe no Reaper at all. If it is going to be Reaper, it's going to be late. 13 gas is not normal. He's obviously got space there in between the barracks and supply depot for a reactor. But
so overall, I mean, this build would be okay against what soO's doing. If it's not the just straight to Reaper and having maybe a few Marines out, or even going up to the factory a little bit quicker, right?
Yeah, but whatever he's facing, he's in trouble against here, I think. So, by the looks of it, I think he just messed up on the refinery and he's going to go Reaper anyway. So it was is Reaper's late, which is not good.
Yeah, and it's going in the wrong direction as well. If this Overlord doesn't reveal either, so this could get a bit sticky pretty fast.
Absolutely. What you need to do when you play this is have the command center in the main base is ideal. Just make a wall and you're done. But you're not going to do that because you don't know what's happening. So you're going to make the command center the low ground. The recovery is a bunker touching the command center around the ramp area that you can have SCVs repair. Reaper's in. But soO pokes forward, does not reveal his location as he prepares for this. Where's that Reaper going to be? Is it in the main? Is it hanging around?
It's going to the left-hand side completely.
It looks like he's going to scout.
Yeah. Where are the Lings going? He saw... Okay, they could have been up to the top left. I think maybe he's going around the idea of a Reaper.
Yep. And this is trouble.
Uh-oh.
Lots of trouble. If the command center gets cancelled, which it's more than likely going to do, this is a huge win. He won't be able to break through into the main, but cancelling the command center is massive.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a lot of Lings, and speed's about to finish up. 4 extra Lings are on the way as well. These Lings... why are 4 Lings there? Cheeky little guys. Reaper can run away, get a few pot shots, but once he sees speed finished as well...
Yeah. He's just got to try and get that cancel on the command center. Cannot let it finish.
Yeah. Oh, gets the cancel
instantly,
already.
He already knows. There's no way he's saving it. But there is a wall. He restarts the command center. And then from this position, we are going to see drones again from soO. And that's already a win in the regard. Imagine if he didn't even build those Lings. That would have been even sicker if he just had 4 and then the cancel happened anyway.
That would be sick mind games right there.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to overcommit with Lings. He's got a few. That's fine. He got the cancel on the command center. The command center's really far behind now.
Little Lings, curious little guys, poke up and see that there is that factory in position now. So Reaper actually ambitiously jumps down, but as long as he's keeping on top of the control, it would keep itself alive. And it's drones, drones, drones from here on out across this next hatchery. Having to play a little bit of catch-up, but he'll get there eventually.
Yeah, soO in good position now. Could take his third very soon. He's already got Lings out. Start spreading that creep. So you can get good surrounds on the Hellions and so on. If they do start to push onto the other side of the map, there are Hellions running away from the Lings here. Lings could go over and start to counter. He's got 2 queens here, third one popping. So, and interestingly, it's a reactor on the barracks there. That's funny. Is he going to go 2 factories here, Hellions, or is he? What is this? Okay, so double Medivacs. He's going to throw an armory down, I think. Yeah. So he's going to play a Hellbat and get some Medivacs in.
Later. On 34 drones.
Yeah, which means he's only going to be on Ling Queen, which if we see an armory come in soon, which I'm pretty sure we will, then this is very powerful. Very powerful against what soO has. Is he throwing the armory in or what? Double Medivacs.
It doesn't look like he's doing it. He might just try and drop normal Hellions, but the power of the Hellbat, as you're mentioning, is very, very strong, so...
He hasn't chosen the armory. It's not coming in.
No.
And it is just Hellions in this Reaper. It's not a lot.
Not at all. Oh, sees the 2 Medivacs.
And now I'm thinking Hellbats if I was the Zerg.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god. This is not going to be good.
Look at him repositioning his army into the main base, throwing down a spine crawler at the natural Viking. 2 Vikings being added on already here.
He cancelled those.
And there's the armory. But it's very, very late.
Yeah, he should have squeezed it in before Stim.
That's a lot of Hellions.
Should have squeezed it in before Stim there.
Well, Gumiho looking to do some damage here. This is quite a lot of firepower that he has. Queens, a little bit indecisive about where they want to go. And he does fend this off for now, pushes it away. He's buying time for his Roach Warren to finish up. Still looking for angles, though, is Gumiho. And he's found one. He could try and move away from this, though. It's going to be difficult to break this kind of location with that many Queen firepower.
Yeah, good target fire on the Medivacs. Those are the danger here. But the Spire is on its way very early on here after that layer. We do see, I think, the Vikings being made now, 2 by 2. So that is going to be nice, because there's no third. So he's probably imagining there's a fast layer and a fast Spire. Armory is finished up. Now we can use Hellbats, but it is a little late.
He reacted to those Lings quite quickly there. And the Queens still position themselves for the defense at the the main base, so should have been okay.
Yeah.
He's actually going to go in with these Lings. I'm not sure how much they're really going to get done.
No, the Lings won't get too much done here. Good micro by Gumiho. Will lose 1 Hellion and even lift the supply depot not to let that in. But there's engineering base just finishing up soon for turrets. Mulists are going to be made in a second, but there's not a lot of them. Not a lot of them. But a bit of a funky game here.
Yeah.
Still a lot of Hellions around. I mean, we're talking, 12, 13 Hellions at this point. Turret's been added on. Gumiho very smart with that. But he's low on SCVs. He's got a lot of units. Stim been added on as well, so he can actually pump out some extra barracks now.
I mean,
actually build some units.
Are these Mutalisks going to have to stay at home and clean up these Hellions? And then that will buy him time for the missile turrets to be up and running? Or
no, he's got... I mean, he's fine here. The Hellions shouldn't be able to do a lot. Should not be able to do a lot.
Yeah, with a few Roaches and the Queens there, it's looking all right. So.
There's only 1 turret, though.
Ooh, a Marauder in
4
production.
Vikings, though. That's a lot.
Yeah, they're fanning out as well, so...
Yeah, well, this is like this is going to be an all-in, I would imagine, from Gumiho, from 2 bases. Hellbat, Marauder, bunch of units thrown in. He's going to go for an attack. Because there's no third command center. There's no really long game in right now, unless he's just trying to play this slower than usual. Which can make sense, considering that soO is quite slow with his own economy.
And a lot of these Hellbats, Hellions even, are actually just dying off. The Mutalisks are killing them. Again, this does technically buy some time to erect some extra defense, but, it's... Mutalisks are fending all of this off, and it cuts down on anything that a push will come along. Once these Hellions die off, how is he really going to put on the power at the front?
Heavy Roach play coming out from soO as he takes his 3rd base and is droned up very nicely, up to pretty much 70 drones now.
Nice.
So Roach Heavy versus this can be very good, obviously. Hellbats, not that good against Roaches. There's only a few Marauders. Vikings are very high in numbers. There's a lot of them. This is a little bit weird. He's dealing with the Museless via the Vikings and then having the ground army to do the rest. And this push is going to be with 1-1 here. Well, +1 attack for the Vikings and Hellbats, +1 attack for the small Bioforce. But pure Roach is going to walk over this. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Gumiho's not sure what he's playing against. Usually this is a fast layer back into Zergling, Baneling, but this is Roaches. And there isn't units here that deal with Roaches very well.
Yeah, you just don't care about how many Vikings you've got if you've got like 40 Roaches on the ground. Don't know how many you really get up to here. He's actually losing a few at the front, which is causing him a few problems, but the Spinecrawler's trying to burrow in position once again. These Roaches, as long as they get a good concave, they could do very well here. There's not that many Marauders, only 3 left in this. He probably have to land the Vikings, but if he does, then the Mutalisks come in and cause extra problems. The Mutalisks are actually at the back, catching any reinforcements, and the Roaches just aren't dying fast enough.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do this attack with against Roaches. It doesn't really work out very well. And then the counterattack is going to be huge, which could probably win soO the game. Yeah,
Gumiho's trying to buy some time with this drop in the main base and trying to put on some pressure, but there's extra Roaches on the way, there's extra Mutalisks on the way. It's looking like a sorry sight here for Gumiho, who is really up against the ropes right now.
Yeah, he adds on a 3rd command center. He's going to have to buckle behind that. There is a lot of more Mutalisks on the way. Obviously, there's already a lot of Roaches out. 1-1's going to complete for these guys. Gumiho's played a very different game to normal here, and he's got to make sure he does not die to any form of different attack that could come from this high amount of Roaches.
Yeah, he's only got 1 missile turret in each of these mineral lines, and he's actually attacking his own command center. But aside from that, he's trying to push in here and buy some time again. Killing off some of these drones will be a nice start, but being drawn back are all of his forces. And again, it's going to be very difficult for him to really do any more damage because this army's too big.
Yeah, chase these Vikings down, that's for sure.
Oh, even the kills on these is really, really nice for these Mutas. They can't well, I mean, they have to stand there and fight. They're not going to get away from Mutalisks, so it's kind of a sorry sight for Gumiho.
Yeah, it's going to lose all of them. More Mutalisks are going to be made now. And at this point, soO has started to take pretty much full command of this game. 4 bases down now with gases. Well, Gumiho hasn't even finished the 3rd command center yet. His upgrades are pretty dire at this point, with only just those 1-1 upgrades now kind of in the mix. He will have a 1 plating upgrade, but what does that really mean?
Yeah, this army is just going to swell and swell and swell. He actually did half damage to that command center with his own units, but...
a lot of Marauders in this mix, though. Now there's 10 Marauders, and it is 22 Roaches and 11 Mutalisks. There is enough Marines, I think, in here. No, okay, there's only 8 Marines, but there are a couple of mines. Still a Viking or 2 behind. Gumiho's definitely got a chance, a small chance here, but 8 Marines against 15-odd Mutalisks with still Roaches and Lings in the mix.
Yeah, he's just trying to catch some of those Marines at the back as well. Any unit he can catch at the back and delay this push is brilliant because he's maxed out. And he can just, again, I think there's probably the opportunity here for him to just wave across this army. There is a drop, though, with Hellbats in the main base trying to catch some of these drones. So that will draw back the Roaches, but the Mutalisks are doing a great job of making sure that Gumiho can't even push across.
And soO making sure that his Roaches do not get conquered, and his Mutalisks by adding on the Baneling Nest just in case if there was too many Marines or so. Obviously, Roaches and Mutalisks not the best against Marines.
Why is there a queen there, of all places?
This game's been a pretty weird one, to be honest. The crease spread's not very good. The compositions are very different. If you just tune in now, you'd be like, what the hell has happened in this game? It's 70 minutes in. The 3rd has just been taken. It's been a very weird game. But as you can see, soO is getting ready to kind of blow stuff up. A lot of units now. 200 supply. Gumiho's still without that 3rd base even mining.
It's funny because he's going to go into this fight without centrifugal hooks, but like I'm not sure if it's even going to matter too much. Gumiho has to have a really, really good position to hold this on. And he spreads the Roaches as he tries to draw it out of the way. And Baneling's walking forwards, getting on anything will be great for them here. Look how many Roaches are left over after those Baneling hits anyway. GG. soO advances on to the lower bracket final and will play against Hero for that final spot at the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose.
In just a best of 3, so Hero against soO in that game. And it could be over really, really fast. It could be a long game, but I'm expecting it to be very aggressive, very fast-paced, because soO is very aggressive. Likewise, Hero. I mean, if you think back to our games earlier, Hero beat Life in like 10 minutes earlier. You have to watch the games to find out what exactly happened, but this is going to be a good final decider game to see who gets the 2nd slot.
Yes, it is. All right, Rain has already advanced onto the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose. After the break, we're going to find out which one of Hero or soO also joins him over in America.